I'm Rebecca Kanopka, Carter County Extension Agent for Agriculture and Natural Resources.
And I'm Jacob Eisen. I'm the Elliott County Extension Agent for Agriculture and Natural Resources for the University of Kentucky. And today we wanted to do a small segment and video on the Great Plains 706 no-till drill. These are both available at the Soil Conservation in Carter County and in Elliott County. And we'd had some questions about general maintenance and seed rates and calibration of the piece of equipment. So we wanted to do a quick video to be able to cover some of those issues. Okay, so we're first going to start talking about the piece of equipment itself, a little bit of general maintenance, and just some tips and tricks and things to know. So first of all, this is the owner's manual, operating manual for the Great Plains 706 no-till drill. It can be found here in this black box, along with the seed rating manual. It actually sits in here real nice, and this is your go-to above and beyond anything in this video that I can tell you. This is your go-to. This is the straight facts on this piece of equipment. So just to start with some of the general maintenance and taking care of this piece of equipment, first and foremost, like any other agricultural equipment, you want to grease the machine. You'll find most of your grease fittings right here. They've been placed very nice and neatly here. And I really like that about this piece of equipment as opposed to crawling all over. However, there is other grease fittings and you need to search it well to try to find it. I'm sure you can find them in your owner's manual here, but as you'll notice, there is other places that will need to be greased. Just a reminder, you only need a couple pumps of grease in each one of these. If everyone's maintaining these correctly and doing it the way it should be, we should always be just basically upgrading the grease and putting fresh grease in it a few pumps at a time. Don't get carried away, or it will actually cause some of these hoses and stuff to blow out and cause more trouble than good. After you've greased the machine, looked it over, or seen there's no loose broken parts, no issues that you can see of or that you can tell, you'll want to check all of your hoses to make sure that they're free of debris and no obstructions. You can do that by, what I like to do is get a shop vac and actually sweep the box out. If there's anything left in the box, go ahead and get that out and make sure that each row is not have any obstructions or any kind of moldy seed or seed that's got damp or is going to cause any trouble like that. And then I actually like to go through and take the hoses off, the clamps off of the top or bottom, and actually take an air compressor and blow through there and make sure that blows all the seed out or any obstructions that you would have before using this machine. This is a 10-row planter, so it would have 10 hoses for the large box and 10 hoses for the small box. We'll get into that a little more in a minute. Just a few other general features on this machine. Since we've discussed the maintenance, it is raised up and down with hydraulics, which are hooked to the tractor. These are your hydraulic hoses running into and your depth knob. This will actually help you raise or lower, adjust your seed depth and your cutters and the machine in general. A full turn is a 1/4 inch. So if you were to make a full 360-degree turn, that would give you a 1/4 inch of depth up or down. Clockwise, which it tells you in your owner's manual again, clockwise would be deeper, a 1/4 inch deeper. Counterclockwise would be a 1/4 inch shallow. The way I like to do that is just kind of when I get my tractor ready and get my seed in and get it calibrated, which we're going to show you in a minute. I get everything ready to go. I like to go ahead and get in the field and just start 50, 60 feet to 100 feet, get off, actually see my depth and see if I need to adjust that here to my desired depth for what seed I'm using. So with that being said, we'll move to the back here where you can see a little bit more of the coulters and other features of the machine.
Okay.
Okay, moving to the back. just a little bit of terminology and talk about a little bit of the stuff that's back here. This is actually a 10-row planter, which has 10 separate cutters, coulters, seed openers, and press wheels. This will be your coulter. This will actually be the first start of your line. This will actually cut into the ground if you had a cover crop or something. If you're putting a cover crop into a cornfield, this is actually what will help cut through those corn stalks and make a good groove to get your seed started down into the ground. These are your disc openers, your opener discs. This is actually what feeds your cool seeded grasses and some of your fescue and things like that you'll be in your big box. It actually feeds straight into here. These disc openers actually help open up the groove that the coulter made for the seed to be able to fall down in and to be able to get down where it needs to be able to start to grow. And then in the back, you have your press wheels, which actually pushes down on that ground and on that groove and kind of puts the ground back in place and presses it and gets it fixed ready for your seed to take off and grow. Your press wheels have adjustments on the back here. There's a set of holes that you can move it forward and backwards with this handle, and you can actually adjust how much pressure you're putting down with your press wheels to be able, depending on what kind of soil or what kind of compaction you want to be able to put back on that groove. There is also some adjustment in these springs and in this spring here to be a little more precise if you're in certain different type of ground and you wanted to really get a little more precise about your depth and how deep you were cutting. You could actually adjust these, and it actually is in your owner's manual to be able to show you how to do that, but we're not going to get into that today. This kind of concludes my part of this video on general maintenance and some of the general features of the machine. I'm going to turn it over now to Miss Rebecca Konopka to discuss seed rates and calibration of the machine. Thank you.
All right, so now that we've worked on our general maintenance, we need to work on calibrating our machine. Kentucky Extension has a grain, forage, and cover crop guide that lists all of our seeding rates, planting depths, and recommended planting times that your county agent will be glad to get you to assist in this process. Inside of our black box also is our manual that has all of our seeding rate charts in here. It includes a variety of grasses and legumes that you may be planting. So we'll look at our chart for fescue. The recommended rate is 20 pounds to the acre. So it will tell us for 7.5-inch rows that we want to set our drop handle to 2. And then also our seed rate handle, which is on this side of the machine, it's set to 35. So now that we have that set, we want to go ahead and engage our drive gear before we can start our calibration. So to engage our drive, we're going to pull the pin here and make sure that it snaps down in the groove there. Make sure it does lock in place. You may have to pull your tractor forward a little bit to get it to lock in place. Then on the flip side of that, once you're through in the field, you want to make sure that you flip that back for transportation reasons. Now that the gear's engaged, we're going to put some baggies underneath our seed tubes so that we can measure out the amount of seed that's dropping. So we've disconnected the tubes here. I'm going to take a Ziploc baggie and a rubber band and attach that on here. We've already got 3 other tubes with bags attached to them. And so now we're going to crank and determine the amount of seed that's coming out. There's a handle on the front of the drill here that we can use to engage the drill without actually moving the tractor so that we can see how much seed each tube is putting out. UK has a calibration chart that we can use to make sure that we're in the ballpark. We need to go 150 feet, so you can do that by pulling the tractor forward or just by cranking this, and it's 14.5 revolutions of the tire based on the tire diameter. So we're going to make 14.5 revolutions. Okay. After we've made our 14.5 revolutions, then we're going to take our seed bags off. I'm gonna shake and make sure all the seed comes out of the tube. Once we've collected the bags off of our seed tubes, we're gonna weigh them out. We wanted to make sure that we didn't spill anything out of the bags after we got them. But we're gonna start by zeroing our scale or tearing the scale. So we're gonna put an empty bag on the scale, hit the 0 button. You can use a kitchen scale, anything that will weigh in grams. So we'll start with our first bag here that's at 18 grams. So we'll make a note of that. Move on to our second bag, which is at 20 grams. Our third bag at 15 grams. And then our fourth bag is 19 grams. The average weight of our bags is 18 grams. If we use our calibration chart from UK, for Kentucky 31 fescue to 20 pounds to the acre, we want to be at 19.5 grams. So we're within 10% of that 19.5, so we're good to start seeding. If you're not within 10%, then you're going to adjust the seed rate handle, not necessarily the drive handle, but the seed rate handle, either up or down, and then repeat the process of adding your bags to the tubes and reweighing your seed until you get within that 10% rate that's on the calibration chart.
This is rental equipment, so you want to make sure that you try to treat it as your own, or try to take care of it as your own, and try to leave it nice and ready for the next person. A good way about doing that is make sure your seed boxes are cleaned out after you get done. Make sure maybe try not to leave your seed boxes open or anything like that where moisture could get down in the boxes and cause mold or any issues. And then if you can and you have time, it would be great to go ahead and sweep your boxes out and actually use your air compressor to blow your hoses out to be able to help the next guy that rents this piece of equipment from a conservation district.
Thanks for joining us today. Please feel free to reach out to Jacob or I with any questions that you have about using the no-till drill, and also contact the local soil conservation district for rental information.
Thank you.